The report had few surprises for the economists at the International Monetary Fund, which works with central banks around the world. Zubair Iqbal was a senior fund official responsible for the Middle East.
Well, PricewaterhouseCoopers does it every year. And this year, the report basically indicates that the economy will continue to grow steadily at about 3.5% to 4% per year for the next 35 years. And in the process, Saudi Arabia will become the 18th most important economic country. At present, it is 20th. Point is, 35 years projection is a very difficult projection to do.
Over the next 4 decades, the so-called emerging economies, the large developing countries, including Saudi Arabia, are expected to grow twice as fast as the developed countries, which are sometimes known as the G7.
When the emerging economies are concerned, their savings rates are high and their investment requirements are much higher. So they're attracting capital from the rest of the world and they're growing faster for that reason. And that's the reason why the emerging economies will end up catching up with the more mature industrial economies and will themselves become industrial economies over time. The oil-producing countries, on the other hand, like Saudi Arabia, have a constraint. Because they're resource-based, the transition from resource-based to human capacity-based transition is a difficult one.
Analysts say Saudi Arabia's economy could grow even faster, but the kingdom's private sector is still not very developed, and so much of the country's wealth is invested abroad.
Saudi Arabia is a very special case. Saudi Arabia has got very large surpluses. And if these surpluses are invested properly, then one can expect them to be able to grow even far faster than 4% if domestic private sector can grow at a faster rate than it is growing at this moment. What it means is to look at what is needed in the private sector, what kind of skills are required in the private sector, and then transfer resources for investment in the development of those skills. For example, you need to have much more capacity in high technology production activities, in electronics as well as in computer and other activities. Similarly, in better utilization of non-hydrocarbon natural resources. There are lots of mineral resources available, but they require very intensive, very precise kind of skill, which is not right now being produced.
The Pricewaterhouse report predicts that in the year 2050, China, the United States, and India will be by far the world's biggest economies. The report forecasts continuing robust growth for Saudi Arabia over the next 4 decades. But analysts say that growth could be even stronger if more could be done to promote the growth of the private sector as a place to absorb more non-oil investments. Burton Bolag, KSA2, Washington.